Hello, I am Ceren Deveci and I am coming from Turkey. And I am the member of Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency. And today, I can explain you risk-based approach to floods in Turkey. Turkey is a country that frequently faces natural disasters due to its tectonic, geologic, seismic, and climatic structure. And 96% of our country is under the danger of earthquake hazard, and 66% of seismic belt is right on the active fault line. And this is the disaster types according to number of disaster events in Turkey. In Turkey, we have flood events and landslide hazards, rockfall and avalanche and other disasters. Turkey has semi-dry climate, apart from some local exceptions. The floods occur most frequently in the months of spring and summer. And most vulnerable regions to floods are the Black Sea and the Mediterranean and the West Anatolia geological regions. And Turkey is divided into 25 hydrological basins. And to develop a solid and efficient flood risk management policy, it's necessary first to clarify the strategy and particularly to identify the objectives of flood management. It will be possible to develop flood risk management plan at the basin scales and to implement it through programs of measures based on this strategy. And these are the implementing institutions for floods. And my organization, Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency, and short name is AFAD, is the first one. And others are State Hydraulic Works, General Directorate of Water Management, and General Directorate of Meteorological Service, and metropolitan municipalities and local authorities. And I want to explain my organization's some duties. And determining hazards and risk of province, making and implementing provincial disaster, and determining damage and losses suffered from disaster, providing trainings in relation to disasters, and establishing and managing warehouses. You can see in the chart the number of disaster events and number of remote houses and number of total affected disaster victims. This data summarizes the overall disaster profile of Turkey for the past 50 years and consists of evolutions of the database of AFAD. And AFAD's first risk-based activities against floods is geologic field surveys about flood. Geological field surveys is the duty of local organization of AFAD. And in geological survey reports, border-specified areas with regards to disaster hazard or risk are designed by local organizations of AFAD as prohibited for building and residence. Besides other flood risk management activity, AFAD makes joint site surveys with the state hydraulic works for flood-prone areas. In these site surveys, which are made for occurred or potential floods, AFAD and state hydraulic works decide together for measures with this aim and protection of the settlements or environment at risk or removing the houses to another place. So regarding to decision for remove houses under risk, new houses are built by government in safe areas. And AFAD has taken a leading role for the preparation of disaster hazard maps, including floods. We are preparing 4 guidelines, and the guideline of flood hazard maps began to prepare. This guideline will allow flood inventory to be complete and used in a certain standard, through raising flood awareness. And this is our flood guideline, and it contains the type of floods and their general characteristics, flood problems in the world and in Turkey, flood inventory, hydraulic and hydrologic modeling, flood analysis stages, parameters utilized in flood assessments, flood susceptibility and assessment methods, flood hazard and risk assessments, and flood hazard and risk mapping. And our final project is capacity building to implement the Flood Directive project. And this is European Union twinning project for Turkey. And AFAD is the main stakeholder of the project, particularly on national implementation part. So, this project's purpose are building up an administrative and technical capacity in the General Directorate for Water Management in order to transpose and implement flood risk assessment and management directive in Turkey to reduce the adverse consequences of floods. And partners of the project are Turkey, France, and Romania. And the duration of project is 2 years. This project's components are enhancing juridical capacity and improving technical capacity, implementation of flood directive in a pilot basin, and development of national implementation plan for the flood directive. Finally, I can say something. In Turkey, the crisis management strategy over the past few years used to be implemented. Today, however, approach to risk-based flood management plan are adopted and projects are generated in accordance with this aim. Geologic field surveys, capacity building to implement the flood directive project, and preparing guidelines for integrated disaster hazard and risk maps are consisted in the same directions, and their common purpose is to reduce adverse consequences of disaster, flood, and flood losses. And measures to be taken for the potential floods shows a risk-based approach in AFAD and Turkey, different from most of the other countries of the world. Because of WCDRR is a wide platform, our aim is to reach a wide audience to emphasize the growing number of flood hazards in the world and in Turkey, and present our studies and to provide case studies for other countries. And disaster and emergency management presidency, which name is AFAD, is open to cooperate on all kinds of studies about floods and other countries. Thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you.